Hi there, this is Architect David. Welcome to Arkida, where you can learn anything and everything about construction. For this video, I will introduce to you what project management is all about. We will start with the introductions. What is project management? It is the process of leading the work of a team to achieve all project goals within the given constraints. Project management focuses on planning and organizing a project and its resources. This includes identifying and managing the life cycle to be used, applying it to the user-centered design process, formulating the project team, and efficiently guiding the team through all phases until project completion. What is the value of project management? Through proper project management, you can assure that the purpose or vision and the goals of the project are maintained, all the while supporting the audience's or the user's tasks and objectives. Additionally, you avoid risks and effectively and efficiently use your available resources. It also helps the team members to understand the responsibilities, the deliverables expected, and the schedule everyone needs to follow to complete the project on time and within budget. What are the areas covered within project management? The Project Management Institute, or PMI, has identified 9 areas of knowledge within project management. They are integration management, scope management, time management, cost management, quality management, human resource management, communication management, risk management, and procurement management. For project integration management, it is the coordination of all the elements of a project. This includes coordinating tasks, resources, stakeholders, and any other project elements, in addition to managing conflicts between different aspects of a project, making trade-offs between competing requests, and evaluating resources. Project scope management, in the meantime, defines and outlines all work included within a project, such as objectives, tasks, outputs, and deadlines. Project scope management identifies and documents all project objectives, goals, deliverables, deadlines, and budgets during the planning process. Modifications are common in project management, particularly in large projects. Time management in project management is about allocating resources to complete tasks on time while staying within the approved budget. Successful time management requires a developed schedule or timeline for the project and an account of obstacles that could interfere with progress. Time management in project management is essential to dividing resources effectively to ensure teams produce high-quality work within the agreed-upon deadline. Improving time management is easy when developing a management style that focuses on delegation and open communication channels is intentional. Cost management, on the other hand, is the process of estimating, allocating, and controlling project cost. The cost management process allows a business to predict future expenses to reduce the chances of budget overrun. Projected costs are calculated during the planning phase of a project and must be approved before work begins. Expenses are documented and tracked as the project plan is executed, so teams stay within the cost management plan. Once the project is completed, predicted costs and actual costs are compared, providing benchmarks for future cost management plans and project budgets. Project quality management is a process that considers how a project should proceed to achieve the desired quality for the project's deliverables. It requires project managers to continually measure the quality of the activities and processes involved in the project. In project quality management, standards are set ahead of time to measure deliverables against and actions needed to be taken throughout the project to course correct. Project quality management's ultimate goal is to guarantee deliverables that satisfy the needs and expectations of clients, stakeholders, or customers, depending on its end user. Through human resource planning, management prepares to have the right people at the right places at the right times to fulfill both organizational and individual objectives. Just as cost and cash flow fluctuate significantly throughout the project life cycle, both in total and in terms of the allocation to various work packages, so the need for human resources and various kinds of expertise and specialization also fluctuates. The types of personnel and expertise for various phases of the project, from conception to termination, depend upon the varying nature of tasks, maturity level of project team members, and external and internal constraints. Communications management in project management outlines the processes and procedures needed to ensure that information and data throughout the life of a project are properly collected, stored, and distributed across the project team. There are three primary steps in the communication management process. First is to plan the communications. Second is to manage the communications. And third is to control the communications. Project risk management is the process of identifying and analyzing and responding to any risk that arises over the life cycle of a project to help the project remain on track and meet its goal. Risk management isn't reactive only. It should be part of the planning process to figure out the risk that may happen in the project and how to control that risk if it in fact occurs. So what is a risk? A risk is anything that could potentially impact your project's timeline, performance, or budget. Risks are potentialities, and in a project management context, if they become realities, they become classified as issues that must be addressed with a risk response plan. So risk management, then, is the process of identifying, categorizing, prioritizing, and planning for risk before they become issues. Project procurement management is the creation and maintenance of relationships with external resources needed to complete a project. A project procurement manager communicates with vendors to buy, rent, or contract products and services needed to achieve the project objectives. Most often, the selection of vendors occurs after they have placed bids to partner with businesses seeking their products or services. A project procurement manager then determines which bid and partnerships are most beneficial to their objectives. Further negotiation may take place to ensure fair representation of both parties' interests. Depending on your project needs, the size of your team and the roles needed may vary. Keep in mind that members on your team may fulfill one role or may fulfill many. Regardless of the size of the team, it's important to identify how the team will communicate and collaborate with one another. This includes discussing upfront any planned or regular meetings, how formal they will be, whether the meetings will be held in person, virtually, or both, how the teams will share and collaborate on documents, where documents will be stored and how they will be version controlled, and the workflow for decisions and approval. For project phases, life cycles, and incorporating user-centered design principles, the projects are typically broken down into phases. Each phase outlines the work that needs to be done and who is involved. Generally, in order for a phase to be considered complete, specific deliverables need to have been completed and handed off. Some project teams, however, do choose to implement fast tracking, which is when phases are starting to overlap. A life cycle defines the beginning and end of the project. It represents all of the phases together. When defining the project's life cycle, the first phase is noted as step 0. It usually captures the visioning and conceptualizing of the project. Most life cycles have 4 or 5 phases, but some may have more. The most common life cycle approaches are the waterfall and agile systems. Regardless of the approach you choose, you will need to incorporate user-centered design, the best practices, and their methods. At a high level, the user-centered design process includes the following steps: planning, collecting, analyzing data, writing content, designing and developing prototypes of the system, and testing. Project plan and charter agreement. When defining your project, it is important to come up with a project plan that the team agrees to upfront so that it can serve as a reference point throughout the project. Make sure when outlining your plan that throughout it you note how you plan to include user-centered design best practices and methodologies. Most project plans outline the following. First, objectives. Another is the scope, which correlates to the requirements. Another one is the resources, including technology, budget, and team roles and responsibility. You also have schedule, assumptions, dependencies, risk management and management plan, then the change control plan. At the end of the project plan, depending on your team's needs, you may choose to include a charter agreement. A charter agreement is typically a one-page document that has the sponsor of the project sign off that they agree to the work to be done as outlined by the team in the project plan. Remember, however, that successful teams understand upfront that things happen and that they'll need to adapt. The project plan establishes the baseline for how you assume the project will happen and then provides information about the process for taking changes into account should they arise. Creating a schedule. Schedules are an important part of project management because they help you measure your project as the project moves along. They also help to outline how each team member's part fits into the overall picture and demonstrates the dependencies. Schedules reflect the life cycle broken down into specific deliverable and touch points. It defines what needs to be done and who is the point of contact responsible for the work. Well, I hope you've learned something new about project management and the basics of it. Please watch out for the next videos with regards to the intricacies or the details of what project management is all about. Click the subscribe button to discover all the other videos in this site. Click the notification bell to be notified about new videos that we post. If you have additional comments, please post them down below or at our Arkida Facebook page, and I will answer all your queries. Thank you.